George Lucas stopped making Star Wars films after the completion of the 6 episodes because the story of Anakin Skywalker was complete. The original saga, before Disney took the wheel, spun an arc of a boy, born into a power beyond compare, transformed by that power, and eventually corrupted by that power. He was led to his death in his attempt to save the only good he had left in the world, his child. But his story has ended, and the galaxy is still in despair. Now a new story has begun. A new spark ignites the fire that could bring balance to the Force. A story we all thought we had heard before, but veiled by a cloak of familiarity, a new power rises. One that could alter the course of the galaxy forever. In 2015, The Force Awakens was overall met well by critics and fans alike, but with a lot of criticism for one aspect. It was just a new hope again. Another death ball, another fatal flaw, and a new band of rowdy rebels who blew it all to smithereens. And right off the bat in The Last Jedi, I thought we were in for the same start, with a new empire to strike back. Now, from this point on, if you haven't seen The Last Jedi, be warned, spoilers do lie ahead. The action begins and we get to our initial point of conflict for the film. The New Order has the Resistance on the ropes, chasing them down with a new bit of technology that can follow a ship through hyperspace, a feat that before this point was not possible. Now, albeit in a slightly different and in my opinion more favorable way, the Resistance gets the intel of the fatal flaw of this technology and devises a plan on how to destroy it and get away scot-free. Insert small side quest to pick up a rogue mercenary type, and we're on to what I initially thought was going to be the climax of the film, as the rebels sneak aboard Snoke's massive ship. In previous films in the series, this is the place where the rebels' just crazy enough to work plan goes through with the help of a little luck and a keen trick or two with the Force. But not now. In The Last Jedi, our heroes are met with real failure for the first time. The consequences of Poe's hot-headedness and impatience not only put Finn and Rose in a place where they might die, but in doing so also jeopardizes the last remaining hope of the Resistance, which leaves us with just Rey. After The Force Awakens, I think this twist was theorized over and over again. Going into this movie, on some level, I think we all knew that Kylo was going to turn and team up with Rey at some point. That being said, I couldn't be happier as I watched Rey and Kylo fight the Red Samurai troopers back to back after the death of Snoke. It was pure fan glee. The entire theater I was in broke out in applause and cheered, until they hit us with the second twist, and this is where the new Star Wars is born. I'm actually going to be talking a lot about a single shot for almost the rest of the video. One that I can't really put in this video with the film not being out yet, but one that if you've seen the film will be hard to forget. In the moments after Kylo and Rey fight side by side, a new conflict breaks out based upon their respective desires and a struggle occurs. Kylo on one side, Rey on the other, and in the middle, Anakin's famed lightsaber. Both Force users fighting for control of it, control of this legendary piece of history. To Kylo, it is his birthright, an artifact of his grandfather and a symbol of his absolute power. To Rey, it is a possible link to her past, a representation of the good in the world and the last remaining Jedi. However, this struggle is for more than just a weapon. This struggle is for the future of the galaxy, for who will inherit the power of the Jedi or the raw, untamed strength of Anakin. And in this struggle, the saber shatters. This is in no subtle way a symbol of this new era in the galaxy. Not only for Disney now taking on the IP and creating a new story and worlds independent of the behemoth fandom that the Skywalker family brought, but also for the characters in-universe. This film is called The Last Jedi, and while the end of the film shows us Force users are alive and well and growing in numbers in the galaxy, I believe this saber breaking in two symbolizes the death of the Jedi. The death of the old ways. For in this world, one where the Jedi are all gone, and the rebellion is on their last legs, their final base symbolically bleeding as they take their final stand, it's not up to a mystical order to protect them. A single Jedi or a 1 in a million plan won't fix it. It is up to every single soul in the galaxy that is no longer willing to stay oppressed. The Force flows through everything. As Leia showed us, saving herself from being blown out into space, you don't need to be a Jedi to use the Force. An elite line of knights is not going to stop pure and powerful evil. The Jedi are gone, but the rebellion lives on. Luke was the spark that will catch fire throughout the galaxy. And in all honesty, I think this is the Star Wars we need today. When the New Order rises up to oppress the galaxy, when those in power can control the state of the world without concern for the cries of the people, we cannot sit idle and wait for the Jedi Knight to come to the rescue. The rebellion must stand strong together. All people, regardless of bloodline or ability, have a place in this fight. The fate of the galaxy cannot be determined by the power of the few, for they fear us. The Force flows through everything and all of us, and now it is time for everyone across the galaxy to take hold of it and fight back.